I hereby call this BOCES board meeting to order. Item 1, approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 2, approval of the minutes from our January 17th.
Madam Chair, I motion that we approve the minutes for the January 17th BOCES meeting.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, treasurer's report.
Balance forward as of January 31st, 2022 is $207,767.25. We brought in a little over $18,000. February bills were $2,017.74, and February payroll was $2,383.70. Finishing the BOCES total funded $225,425.09. For major receipts that we had, Carbon County Treasurer was just a little over $2,400, and interest income was $26.75. Currently, we have $67,667.36 in the Bank of the West checking account. Our money market WIO star is at $153,767.73, bringing total funds to that already mentioned $221,425.09. And then continuing, we also have March bills of $5,413.32 for a grand total of bill approval for $7,431.06 with combined February and March.
Okay, great, thank you. Are there any questions for Brett regarding our bills? Financials?
Yeah, I have a question on the February treasurer's report. It says the revenue was $18,000, but the major receipts come to $2,470.
Yes, because there is the $15,000 from Western Wyoming Community College that they reimbursed us every year, and that came in February.
Okay. Okay, it wasn't listed there, so I just.
Great questions. Are there any other questions? Okay, so it looks like the grand total of approved bills, like Mark mentioned, is $7,431.06. Is there a motion to approve the bills?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the bills for February 2022 BOCES fund for $2,017.74. March 2022 BOCES fund $5,413.32 for a total of $7,431.06.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the February and March BOCES fund bills for a grand total of $7,431.06. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 5 under reports is the BOCES report.
Okay. So we will start out with our January report. January was still kind of a, oh yes, sorry, February, thank you. But we'll do both of them because we didn't actually talk about January during our January. was still a semi-slow month for us in January. We had a lot of things planned. Kindergarten readiness was still our main topic, as was getting a meeting with Western Wyoming Community College set up that was done in February. But however, in January, we saw increased numbers for kindergarten readiness in Saratoga and encampment, which is really exciting, particularly in encampment. We also finalized the plan for northern part of the district for kindergarten readiness, and I think we are going to be settled on doing more of a program in the summer right before school starts, opposed to actually doing something throughout the spring, like that, just because of incoming numbers and staff changes and things like that. Go ahead.
Is that just the preference of the parents and the teachers?
So
Is that
previously, Kyle, we would have on Friday schools, the kids would come in and shadow the kindergartners that were coming in, and then they would have lunch at the school. Kyle is leaving the kindergarten position and moving up, so they're getting a new kindergarten teacher at Hannah Elementary right now. And so just so that the kiddos meet her and are comfortable with her moving forward, we're moving it to a summertime. Let's see what else. We decided to go ahead and cancel senior tech classes. We also decided to shelve community welding because as of right now, we don't have an instructor that's interested in doing that after hours, which is kind of a bummer, but maybe in the summertime that will be more of an option. I previously had mentioned to you guys that we did have a verbal agreement with Lori Foster at the end of January to do oil painting classes, and that was solidified. And we did, like I said, schedule a meeting with Western Wyoming Community College and Carbon County School District 2 to discuss the dual enrollment and concurrent enrollment program, and that was scheduled for February, and we'll talk about that next month. Hannah Rec Center also contacted me to do swimming lessons again for spring break and for summer. I opted out of spring break, but we are working on a schedule with Saratoga and Hannah to do swimming lessons in both communities, provided we can get everybody accommodated. So, and we will move on to February. February.
Can we ask questions on this one real fast?
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys have any questions on January? The senior tech classes, why did those get, or why did that kind of end, or not?
We had it, it was very good pre-COVID. Then there was an issue with people coming in, all the senior centers were shut down, and that's where we were holding them at. And then there were limited numbers when they did open back up for who could be in the building. And then people just haven't been, like the directors themselves haven't been very comfortable with that. And so having a tech class for 3 or 4 people in Medicine Bow does not make it easy for me or Nanette to go up and do that. For a couple of people, it just isn't budgetarily functional at that juncture. So we will go ahead and approach that again, either this coming summer or in the fall when things change a little bit. People are getting more excited currently about getting together, which is nice, and we will talk about that everywhere.
Awesome, I was just curious.
Yeah, it's not something we want to completely shelve because it was very well received. However, just due to current times, that's an issue for us, and we have to work around that since we're not utilizing our facilities.
Well, and then Saratoga, you've also been talking to them about swimming lessons. And is that through the
With Sarah, Lawful,
Oh, that's awesome. Because I know she's trying to get lifeguards and stuff put together.
And she's also doing WSI training as well. So there will be 2 of us local, and I have given her some names of some other people that are local for swim lesson instruction who are certified that can potentially participate as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes. So February, also we saw increased numbers for kindergarten readiness in both Saratoga and encampment. We solidified our dates for kindergarten roundup that happened, so that's registration essentially at all the schools, and we have dates for each one of the elementary schools throughout the district in April. We will, as we did in previous years, be providing snacks for the kiddos, so we'll do some sort of juice, and I don't know, I haven't decided on fruit or cookies or what we're doing yet, but we'll figure out something. And then from previous, we have been hooked up with YEC PLC, the Early Childhood consortium within the state. We just got a new director for our region, Taylor Dory, who is a Carbon Countyite, and she is really, really driven. She's already been hooked up with me to do trainings with folks, which is nice because that is a free opportunity for early childhood within the district. People can get STARS credits as well as PTSD credits, and we do have staff participating in that. In February, they gave the opportunity for another leadership online webinar book study, and there's 5 of us in the district right now that are taking that, so free of charge, and also offers PTSD credits, which is pretty awesome. We went ahead, finished out all the scheduling for painting class. We reused quite a few supplies from previous sessions, but I had to order some new stuff. And advertising went out. As of February 12th, we had 3 waitlist individuals that were due to weather, and that's fairly typical for this first one because we have interest from people in Bags and in Rollins. And so when the road is closed, they don't feel it's necessary to pay the $100 for the class, which I don't blame them. So we actually ended up, we had those 3 waitlisted. However, when class kicked off, we are full and took 1 extra person. So it's actually, obviously we'll talk about this later, but we are full. This will be week 3 tomorrow night, and this class is different than anyone we've ever had. Like, they came in with an art background already. So instead of people starting completely from scratch, Lori was pretty stoked after the first night because the paintings looked abnormally good on night 1, opposed to like watching the transition to night 4. So night 4 this go around will be really fantastic, I think, and I'm kind of excited about it. In general, just to recap the meeting with Western Wyoming Community College, there was all the school counselors there, Noel Manning, Dr. Copeland, myself, and Cassie was there, as well as 3 reps from Western Wyoming Community College. We discussed the statutes and requirements that are in our handbook that we have been discussing and we edited for many weeks, it seemed like. Handbooks, everybody has those. They went over dual enrollment and the actual program that everybody has been having issues with, that we have no control over, we just have to deal with it, as well as internal issues with programs from Western Wyoming side, talking to dual enrollment and getting all of those issues set up. There's a game plan in place as far as who does what, when, where, and we're moving forward, so that's good. At this juncture, there's only 2 different registration programs in the United States for these type of scenarios. They chose what they thought was the best one, and we just have to deal with it for now. It may or may not get better in the future. Let's see, what else? We finished doing all of the planning for cooking class for the kiddos to kick off on March 4th, and that has been a super success. We had planned to have 12 kids for kids cooking class. We have given the time or the day anywhere between 12 and 17 kiddos cooking, so we have a full kitchen and it's pretty fun. We started out with breakfast, previous class we did lunch, and then this coming Friday we will go ahead and do dinner. The kids are really stoked and want to extend it, so I think we're going to go ahead and extend it, maybe do a dessert class, and then have a final class where they actually cook for a parent or whoever wants to come and have lunch. So let them show off their skills, which will kind of be fun. As I mentioned from the previous month, we're solidifying the schedule for swimming lessons between Hannah and Saratoga. Obviously, as Cassie mentioned, one of the big giddy-ups there is lifeguards and making sure that the pool is safe before we have kiddos and or adults in the pool. So that is something we need to move forward with. I was able to contact the author of Rhodey the Range Dog books. I don't know if you guys are aware of those. The author is out of Newcastle, Wyoming. He is going to do a book tour down here and come to all of the elementary schools and meet with the elementary kiddos, and that will kick off in April, so that's kind of exciting. All of the elementary teachers seem to be very excited about that. Also, we have Ivy Palmer, the music instructor from Saratoga Elementary School, brought to me information about Kinder Music, which is an early childhood program for music throughout the district, and she is interested in getting certified for that, and we are looking into that as well. As of right now, I have been contacted by McCall Bureau about a Maker's Opportunity Grant. I'm not really aware of this. I've put out extra questions and have not gotten a response, so we're shelving that until future notice, because I'm not sure we have a place to play from a collaboration standpoint, at this juncture. And then I've also been approached by some of the science staff within the district to offer a botany class held by them throughout the summer. So they would go do wildflowers and other things on the mountain. And we've talked about doing this in the past. It's just a matter of me not always having all the time in the world to conduct my own class, but now that there's staff who's interested in doing it, I want to approach this further. And
So how does that work? Do we end up paying them?
we will
to
contract
teach
them to teach,
the class?
just like we contract other classes. Yeah, and then we would probably provide a snack, and we would either, depending on the size of the class, do Suburbans or a bus, depending on the facility. Moving forward, people are obviously, as we are seeing with numbers from classes right now, they're excited about activities again, and classes are filling up, and people are actually showing up for the class as opposed to filling classes and not showing up. So that's exciting. So for the following months, I want to plan more cooking classes for the kiddos, get plans solidified for the botany class, also do some other classes for kiddos, and then discuss a section 2 painting like we did earlier with Lori in previous years. We also have the opportunity to potentially offer a digital photography class, and that would be with Liz Wood here in Saratoga, and then there's a potential too of another individual in the northern part of the district, which will be after hours classes, not normal daytime classes. And then there will be a push in March to do advertising for fall registration for Western Wyoming.
Are there any questions on the February report?
Do you feel that when you had the meeting with all the counselors and everything for the school enrollment classes that it maybe helped align some stuff like that, or?
I think it did. I don't know that it's going to solve all of the issues. I think there's some things that we just need to be looked at as we continue moving forward. But I think it started out just going through the roles and responsibilities of the different parties of the, what rec is supposed to do, what counselors are supposed to do, what WWCC is supposed to do. So I think just opening the lines of communication is definitely going to be really helpful. So hopefully we can just keep moving forward and keeping those lines of communication open so that we can kind of work out some of the kinks. Dr. Copeland was also there, but we had a different take.
I think it really helped to have some people from Western Wyoming there, because Breck's kind of been in between two different ends of things. And I think having them there to answer questions directly helped everybody have a little better understanding of that there are some real shortcomings on the whole process from their end, and some of the mistakes they didn't seem aware of, like the one that they were going to be allowed to drop without penalty, whatever. I mean, there's just some things that I think did get worked out to the advantage of that particular student, especially. So
There was a student that had a W on their transcript, and we were able to get that resolved for the student. I do believe I received an email saying that had been
yes.
resolved. So I think you had some questions that were answered by WWCC, and I think the counselors were ready to ask questions and just kind of, voice some of the concerns and issues.
Well, the process has changed, and anytime things change, it's hard for everybody to kind of takes a little bit of time. But I think it did make things clearer. Or at least it seems a little bit.
But I think even like things that I didn't know, and I was really just there to listen and get, hear what was going on. So I didn't really have anything to add, but, I definitely learned some things as like who the classes are really tailored to. And, there's a whole discussion of being 16, I believe, was at the age of, that's generally the kids are should be, or they're more encouraged to take part in the classes if they're 16 or older. But however, kids younger than that can take the classes, but it has like a little bit of a different process. So just things like that. I think just having that conversation and opening it up for questions and people kind of on the same page, I think is the real benefit that I saw.
Do we have a harder time with kids with our school internet being able to do these college classes?
Yes. Well, there are technology issues, I know that.
Well, I've
I
heard
don't-
because
I'm
they
not
get
saying
blocked
who.
a lot because like some you have to
Yes.
watch YouTube and stuff
They
like
have to
that.
unblock things, stuff like that. I
Which-
see that
and
happening a lot.
Issue with that though is it's time sensitive, like they wanna watch a video and yet they have to, it might take a little bit of time to get approval to watch that, so they can't just be like, oh, I wanna do that right now, because you have to wait for that approval. So I do feel like when they're at school taking those classes, that they can't do it very efficiently, that they do have to do it a lot of times when they get home.
Is there
Or
any
at least
way,
pre-planned.
Or get that approval ahead of time, which is
that seems not likely.
right, but for kids, it does seem, but my understanding is that they have to send an email to Andy, and then Andy grants them approval and emails them back.
That's essentially the process. I have to do it every week in order to put Facebook ads up on my school computer as well. And the only workaround with that, and that's something that we have discussed in the past, is getting jetpacks that are held at the school specifically. And then once you attach a school computer to a jetpack, then it's on a different IP, and then they can access it.
I don't know what a jetpack is.
Those are
Are those
like
little
the
hotspots?
mobile hotspots. Yeah.
Because it seems like, because a lot of kids, if you're taking it, then you have to do it at home. I didn't know if there was any way that, I don't know how that works, but I mean, are a lot of kids taking similar classes or something where it could be sent
Well, it's like,
beforehand, or
it's
she
like a
could
lot
look
of,
at
but they
the,
don't all go to the same thing or have the same exact site to go to their topic. It's like, there's leeway in the assignment of maybe the actual topic within a framework. And so they're not gonna all.
go to the same.
Yeah, freeing
website.
up one website's not gonna solve this issue. is what I'm trying to
Okay.
say.
That's what I
There
did.
might be 15 different websites if there's 15 different students.
Is it, well, I know how particular it is about our thing, is it something they could unblock for that college class, and then, I mean, they still can track what they're doing. And
The
if they're doing-
filter doesn't work.
It's not specific.
Yeah. Filter is kid specific, kid device specific.
You have college class devices specific that had.
From what I've been told, no, but now I'm not a technology expert.
I'm not either.
repeating what I've been told when I've asked some of these same questions. And it is frustrating, because just like when you're home, if something doesn't work, I have very little patience. You can't go somewhere I want to. So I don't know what technology brings out the worst in everybody when it doesn't go where we want it to go. But I will say the whole filter thing is a frustrating thing, because every workshop I go to that talks about filtering and hacking and all of that talks about all of the terrible things that can happen when things are unfiltered. And so finding that balance is tough. And I mean, it's tougher when we're not all technology experts. But I do hear that side of it too. So, and Andy does too whenever she goes. And the liability of that and not filtering and all of this, we sign every time we go, to get our federal funding, get the name of that grant now that helps pay some of that cost. We have to sign all of these assurances that we have a filtering system that's approved by them, it's quite a deal. So I'm not sure we've gotten it where it needs to be. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's kind of a difficult judgment sometimes. Most technology directors that I know, well, there's two kinds. One, don't care, and it's wide open. And the other kind are the other extreme. It's very tight, and I think we're much closer to that extreme.
So is it device-based? So,
Because
my
see-
computer here on the network, I could Google whatever the heck I wanted.
But that's your personal.
Yes.
That's different because it doesn't have network assurances. If you have been issued a computer from the school district, it's completely locked down, as are tablets.
So if kids technically brought their own devices to school, they could.
Well,
If they can get the network.
Oh, well, you have to
depends.
probably
You have
get
to have
the-
a network, if you have a hotspot, I guess, on your phone or something, because I can hook into my hotspot in places and go wherever. But like on my laptop, that's school, I have the ability to do a lot more than, say, staff does. I have to share Google stuff all the time with state and accreditation and all kinds of things. I have to be able to get into my computer. And see, that's not allowed on students, because then anybody can get into their Google Drives and screw stuff up. It's just not an easy
No.
balance.
So we're
But
able
I'm not
to
saying we shouldn't look at it all the time.
So we're able to get onto this network, but students necessarily aren't. Do they just open this up and there's a school board meeting?
I don't
Is that what it, you
think,
just?
No, because my phone accesses it every time I'm here, because I have because my phone and my computer are linked, so I automatically have the password somewhere in the computer already.
when,
Oh,
So my
it is
phone will hook
device
to it too.
specific.
Because
It's pretty
even-
device specific, so maybe she's, okay, like mine is freer than Mrs. Smith's down the hall.
And if you're
So
like
it is specifically.
logged into your school email account, because you're running off of the school information system, Google Drive, since we're all Google based now. If I'm sitting at home on my IP on my work computer and I have my Gmail account open, I can't get on, no, not my personal, my work. I cannot get on Facebook, I cannot get on any of that.
Really?
So, because the workaround I used to do is create all my ads when I was at work, and then I'd go home and put them up, because then I could hit Facebook and do that kind of stuff. I can't do that at all. I have to do it via Jetpack.
Yeah, interesting, because I don't have that issue with my.
The last go around with my ads, like I couldn't even get the Jetpack to work, and I was frustrated, so I just said, and went ahead and did it off of my phone instead, but the ads are not the same quality as they are on the computer, and I don't like that, so.
The reason YouTube is not okay or opened, and you can open, well, somebody correct me for sure, but I think the way I understand it, you can open up certain parts of YouTube, like you can.
Education.
Yes, but the reason YouTube has not been opened up at our campuses is, I've been told, is because they take a lot of bandwidth, and if a lot of people get on it, it's going to clog down the internet as general, our whole network. So partly it's where we are and some of the restrictions. And some of that I've read, some of that ESSER money, specifically in Wyoming, is going to be to add broadband capacity to remote rural areas, of which we are one of the.
Like lowest.
It's weird.
Just weird back there.
Did when Union updated their fiber, all that, did that help us at all at the school?
It's
or?
been better. I mean, the capacity's been better in the 8 years I've been here. It's definitely improved from 8 years ago as far as the capacity of it. But the filtering is really the frustration thing. And like if you use your, well, that's all I got. That just takes up time.
You don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
You can put your personal Gmail, but then you have to allow access, which I just don't do. I just go to the Google site and sign in that way. I don't do that app. So that way, it keeps them out. Well, who knows what's private. I feel like it's private. Probably it. The government probably sees it. Or if somebody sees everything we do, it's what there is. Yeah.
Okay. Next up on our agenda would be item 6, unfinished business, Title I Rockies.
Yes, at last meeting, we discussed the potential of Title I tickets to be given to Title I students, either as a fundraiser and or as a thing for them to do. After budget analysis and looking at current gas prices and what it's going to cost us to rent 2 buses to drive to Denver and come home, we are shelving this for this year because it is just not feasible. And the timing is off due to the end of the school year and many other. I got very limited options as far as acceptable dates, and they didn't really work. So we're shelving it for this year. So just as a follow-up.
Any questions about that? Item 7, audience questions. All right, item 8, new business. Approve April director review.
So you guys have in front of you a paper copy. There's also one in this board docs as well, if you wanted to do a PDF instead. Cassie asked that we do an evaluation at the next meeting simply because we didn't do one in November or December of last year. So we're gonna play catch up. So if you guys would please take the time to fill this out, you can either do it by hand or electronically and then get them all to Cassie before the April meeting, and then we'll discuss them during an executive session then.
Okay, so our April meeting is going to be on the 18th. 1, 2. So can you guys try to get them to me maybe by April 11th? And then I can look at them and maybe compile some of the results and have that ready for April 18th. I was just thinking about, I think I've only been through one evaluation with Breck, and so it just dawned on me that we hadn't done one. And what I didn't realize is that we do them usually during October.
We hand them out in October and discuss it in December.
Okay,
And that's
so
right
we're a
now.
little bit behind, and then maybe we can get back on track this coming fall. We do that again.
And the reason for the timing
Mhm.
is because if there is gonna be a board change, it's gonna take place in January,
Sure.
and it would be terrible for a new board member.
To evaluate somebody they haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
Or maybe it would be really good for me, I don't know.
So,
Breck, is there anything that you would specifically like feedback on? I know that was something when I first came on, you would specifically ask for that any feedback. And so if there's anything that you're extra curious about or anything, just let me know. Okay. But the board, if you do know you're going to be gone, just try to get me your evaluation forms prior to that. So I might leave our next meeting. Yeah. Also, as you're going through this evaluation form, I planned on reading it before today, but I did not. So if you have any recommendations, not necessarily for this program, but when we do it in the fall, be sure to make those comments as we do an updated version if we want to. So do you guys have anything to add or questions on that? All right, item 9, next meeting, April 18th at 2:45 here. Junior Senior High School.